So the High Court in Gauteng dismissing the application of the EFF around that CR17, those bank statements with cost. To discuss, we're joined by Associate Professor of Law at Northwest University, Tumi Mmusinyane. Professor, thank you for being with us. So what do you think of the judgment? And of course, give us some context as well, because this application was linked to a report by the public protector in the first instance, which even mentions things like money laundering, but her report was overturned. Just give us a bit of the background.
Yes, good afternoon. It is not a surprise that the High Court has dismissed this application. The context of this matter is that the public protector, while investigating one, reported incident of 500,000 that was allegedly paid into Ramaphosa, decided to extend the investigation and include the entire CR17 campaign, and in so doing requested the Financial Service Intelligence to provide the bank statements, of which now the Constitutional Court at this moment has dismissed, in fact has upheld Ramaphosa, objections or review of that public protector's report. And the Constitutional Court in that context has also indicated that indeed evidence was proven before the public protector that Cyril Ramaphosa has no direct relations with the campaign itself, and in so doing he cannot directly be found to have violated any rule or law that exists under the South African legislations, and therefore the public protector's jurisdiction is never meant to extend beyond what was reported before her. Yeah. Now the EFF, on the other hand, now while this case was before the High Court for a review, they were a party to it. When the statements were sealed, they were a party to it. But a year later now decided that, oh, by the way, we now want those bank statements to be made, public. It is in the public interest. It's not a surprise that it was dismissed with cost, because what the Constitutional Court has said is exactly what the High Court has to reiterate, in as far as to say that it is not in the public interest for such statements to be made public. It is also, in my view, it's a political issue that they want to use the law, process to. They have a political finding act, of which it can reveal all of them, not just Cyril Ramaphosa. But why are they, not delaying in as far as trying to promulgate that act to coming into force? Yeah. So it is not a surprise today that that matter is dismissed with cost, and for them to appeal, it's something that will have no prospect of success, because the Constitutional Court has already distanced Ramaphosa from those campaign, for the campaign itself.
Is there a principle here that if you are a donor to any campaign and you are told that you will be anonymous, then you should be kept anonymous, even though, like you say, we may move to transparency in the future, but then that should affect all the people running for presidency, not just one?
Well, with the Political Funding Act, it's meant to regulate that any political party, remember, before you support an individual within that party, you start with the party. So any donations that you made to that political party, it means that once this act comes into force, we'll have to disclose the source of that, funds, where it comes from. Okay. So
can I just clarify, Professor? Okay. So it will affect future campaigns for the presidency of the ANC, not just the overall party funding, because I think the narrative initially was that it would affect party funding only.
Remember, they have within the party themselves, it's something that I'm not sure how it's going to be dealt with in as far as the individuals are concerned. But the fact that a party is being sponsored, it will give us an indication as to who in that party is intending to support a particular individual within that organization itself, because they contribute to the party then chooses someone who they believe can be a candidate for them. Now, this act is meant to put that all into transparency. It means them as well. Remember that also the manner in which this was done, I think it's also created bad precedents, because it means anyone who don't wants to know who's funding them, they'll create a similar Cyril, 17, campaign kind of a format, and then they say that I have no connections with that campaign except to say that it's supporting my campaign. So there is a lot of lacunas that is likely to unravel because of this judgment of the Constitutional Court, and how these political parties and their individuals are likely to source their funds from private donors also.
Professor, very quickly, what about those who have commented and said Cyril Ramaphosa presents himself as a very transparent president? Should he not just be open about who funded the campaign anyway?
Well, I will borrow the words of the former Minister of Social Development, Batabile Dlamini, that we all have skeletons, small skeletons in our. So it may appear to be like that. We don't know until such time that times determines that as to whether Cyril Ramaphosa is transparent or not. We cannot, on the face of it, say that he is.
All right. Thank you very much for your time. That was Law Professor Tumi Mmusinyane. Thank you very much.